thank you all so much for coming. I know you were here anyway, but a few of you came to be here. Happy 4th to all of you, but I also might add it's a very sad 4th for the descendants of the the Native Americans, for the descendants of the slaves who were brought here, who are still being murdered and enslaved every day. So it's happy and it's sad. Like, it's happy because I wouldn't be here, most of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for America. Our ancestors would have been killed in other countries. So we all know that too. So happy 4th, but let's consider it a 4th of freedom for all of us. And let's think of this as a day where we can make ourselves and the whole world more free and fulfill the original idea of America, which was to fulfill all the human rights of all Americans.
Yes!
Woo! Like Thomas Paine used to talk about all the time, and by the way, we never talk about that, but he helped to whip the people of our nation into a frenzy to throw off the British, and all he talked about was human rights. All he talked about was, he said, when we throw off the British, we'll all be rich. Well, over half of America is now about to sleep on the streets. So we're not fucking rich anymore. Now this is, of course, because of the evil piece of shit Nazi rapist Trump.
Yes! Yes!
Fuck Trump!
Fuck Trump!
We're gonna lock him up. That's the first thing. We're gonna honor our human rights, as we've all found out, as I suspected all along. He is the reason that dozens of our troops were murdered in Afghanistan. Period.
Period!
Period.
Period!
Right. We know what happened now. He was buddies with Putin.
Woo! Do you want a flyer? Yes,
He was buddies with Putin, and they worked it out along with the Prince of Saudi Arabia to steal our votes and to steal our democracy. And we've had enough! Enough! Now, the other thing, as we all know, we call America a democracy, right? Right? But we all know that we don't have an equal vote in this country. I filed a lawsuit, I fought it for 3 years all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they threw it out, those assholes. And this does include those on the left, because I got Roberts to withdraw. He withdrew, and still we lost. Which means even those on the quote left don't believe we have a right, or at least constitutional rights, or human rights to an equal vote. Well, if our country wasn't founded on one thing, it was equal vote. Equal fucking vote, motherfucker! Woo! In the last election, those who voted for Trump, because the Electoral College, their votes counted 50% more than those who voted for Clinton. That means the Republicans' votes counted 50% more because they own approximately 50% more land. That's bullshit! Bullshit! We have rights to an equal vote. Period. So, when I'm president, God willing, in a few months so we can be done with this bullshit, I'm not gonna what is it called? What's the word? I will be sworn to uphold the Constitution. What does that mean? Equal vote. What does that mean? We either withdraw the Electoral College, and if they won't step down, they're going to jail too! Period! We've had enough of this bullshit. We have human rights to be free in this country. That means not go to jail if we're not hurting anyone.
Wait, let me say something. Vote for Fred 2020! Period!
Thank you so much. Cool. Yeah, so, by the way, I don't have the Rona. I had it a few months ago, thank God. It was not a big deal. So now, yeah, no biggie.
It's gone now.
But it was only and now I'm immune, so it's cool. Yeah, when you're immune, you can't get it, so it's awesome. Now, by the way, we'll get back to that in a minute. But no, I'll talk about it for a minute. You know this whole thing about how they're saying, oh, stay away from people and wear a mask. Look, I think that we need to make millions, trillions of masks and millions of oxygen machines and millions of ventilators and distribute them throughout the world. The whole world needs these. However, It's not right to just say we're gonna shut down the fucking world. Hey, bro. Jeremiah. Woo! Jeremiah. Okay, he's up next after I'm done talking. Okay. No, unless you don't want to talk. But
Let them know who I am.
Jeremiah's the man. Woo! Black Lives Matter because all lives matter because you're the man and we're tired of killing us.
What? Want me to say something?
You can for a minute, then I'll go back.
Oh, no. Is it
on? Hey, y'all, hey, all I gotta say is, if y'all celebrating the 4th of July, y'all sorry as hell, bro. Hey, Black Lives Matter, that's all I gotta say.
Fuck yeah!
Hey, y'all should vote for my nigga Prez, but he can't get it right, you feel me?
Woo! Black Power! Black Lives Matter! Stop killing us! Hey, Tom, I need a hat. They told me I need a hat. Thank you. That's Sierra. Thank you, Sierra. We're gonna call her Sierra Nevada. Just kidding. Okay.
That's what I'm named after.
Oh, cool. You're named after the beer?
Yeah, my parents fucked in the mountains. And they have
Oh,
trees
you got
on-
badass parents.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that. That was the beer. By the way, just an aside, Sierra Nevada was the beer that made me realize that beer doesn't suck. Because I used to hate beer till I tried Sierra Nevada.
I fucking hate beer.
Yeah, then I'm like, oh my god, beer can be good too.
You have some?
So should I put on your hat instead of mine?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take off my vote for Fredro hat. Woo!
Woo!
How does that look? Okay, cool. Okay, so anyway, I'll put it. So, let me think of a few more things. Oh yeah, just about the virus for a second. The best thing you can do to survive it is eat no more sugar and no more McDonald's, no more processed food. I'm sorry to...
Oh, I love their cheeseburgers.
It's addictive. This shit is addictive. It's also deadly. By the way, this whole war on drugs shit, this is all related. This whole war on drugs. You know how many people we arrest every year, mostly for the war on drugs? 10 million Americans. You know how many people are in jail right now? About 2 million fucking Americans. I'm gonna free those 2 million. I'm gonna stop arresting 10 million Americans. By the way, if there's 10 million arrests, you know how many police and between the attacks there are on us? Probably 100 million. Probably 200 million attacks a year. That's what we're gonna stop when I'm president. We're gonna stop them from killing us by stopping them from arresting us. By the way, Thomas Jefferson said, this is one of his most famous sayings. He said, the legitimate powers of government extend to such acts as are injurious to others. Meaning, if you're not hurting somebody, the government has no business in your fucking face, much less arresting us, enslaving us, torturing us, raping us. Enough already. Enough. By the way, I meant to say, so all illegal drugs, you know how many all illegal drugs worldwide kill a year? 200,000 people. You know how many people sugar kills a year? There's 54 million deaths a year in the world. Sugar kills 36 out of 54 million people. I'm talking cancer, Alzheimer's, obesity, diabetes, I don't know, everything. So, everything. And coronavirus now. So in the US, we have 3 million people that die every year. 2 million of those are due to sugar. And coronavirus, you just throw in another 125,000. Now, the other thing we have to do is, that Trump the asshole didn't do, besides making enough masks. Look, I don't think we could have stopped this thing, because it turns out it was going on in China 6 months, they think, before they knew about it. So I don't think we necessarily could have stopped it, but we certainly could have had enough masks and nurses and doctors and hospitals and oxygen machines and ventilators, and we could have protected especially the healthcare workers and the old people. 44% of those who have died are in nursing homes. All they had to do was protect them. The rest of us, most of us will live, especially, it's not that you have to, I know, I'm overweight, we're all a little overweight, but look, I admit it, look, I was going to say, look, I admit it, but the point is, it's not that I have to lose my belly. All we have to do is, you stop the sugar and the processed food for a few weeks, your immune system goes good enough that you live. It's live versus die. All you have to do is stop the sugar and processed food for a few weeks. Okay, and then after you get it, God forbid, but no, I guess it's not so bad if you get it as long as you live. Then you're immune for between months and years. They don't know. Maybe decades. So you're set, then you can eat all the McDonald's you want, although I wouldn't suggest it because then you could still die of cancer, Alzheimer's, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I'm very angry at Trump for having killed all of our soldiers, but by the way, I am with his deal with Putin, that piece of shit, but I am the only candidate who fought against not only this war on drugs and mass incarceration, but I've been fighting to end are wars. All of these wars, Biden voted for them too. Biden did vote for these wars, and people forget that. I have been fighting against going to these wars since before they began. I would have not gotten us into Afghanistan or Iraq or any of that bullshit. Now, I'm not saying we just let terrorists go, but there were 20 involved. There were probably 100 more we could have secretly, silently killed without, the more, when you make it a big deal and you start killing millions of people, then they want to kill you, and then the more you kill, the more they want to kill, and next thing you know, it's a never-ending war, which is where we are. And I tried to prevent this, nobody listened to me, so here we are. Same thing with the war on drugs. I told them. By the way, the war on drugs is also the main cause of most of all the murders and all the robberies, because when you increase the price of drugs and you make the whole country and world poor, they have no other way to make a living, so they sell drugs. That's just obvious. Now, my other part of my platform is to honor our human rights. That means free health care, free college, free housing, free food. You know how much food stamps, if you're lucky enough to get them, pay? $1.40 a meal. You guys think that you could all live on $1.40 a meal? What do you think? No. It's bullshit. How are you supposed to live on $1.40 a fucking meal? That's called fuck you, you die, because you're poor. That's bullshit. Bullshit. No, and I've had enough. And now that because he didn't control the virus and because he didn't make enough masks, we have 50 million now people unemployed, about to live in their fucking cars, and when they can't pay for the cars, they're gonna be on the streets. We can't live like this. I want guaranteed jobs, guaranteed basic income. That way, we're set. That's called human rights. It's in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we all have a right to all of our human needs. Read it sometime. And if you say, like some lawyers would say, oh, well, that's not legally binding. Well, then we also have the ICCPR that guarantees our right to democracy. There's another treaty that we need to sign to guarantee our rights to economic rights. But when I'm president, we'll just do it. The way I see it is, how can you have any other rights if you're not alive? And how can you live if you can't eat?
Prez, I think you should go farther and keep going with it.
That's okay. I think that I'm going to bother them. If they wanted to come in.
Say something.
So I have said enough now, I think, but... Okay, wait.
I've met you a couple of times. That's how I know you're doing. Valentina. Nice to meet you.